spotlight there on the YouTube broadcast can remain on the head coaches. So once again, we're going to ask you please keep your cameras off during this media session. Also, if you are not actively asking a question to one of our head coaches, please make sure that your line is muted, that there is no audio from your line unless you're actively asking a question to our coaches. We'll begin here in a few minutes with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor at 10:05. He'll be followed by Eddie Robinson from Alabama State at 10:15. Coach Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State will be at 10:25. Coach Raymond Woody, Bethune-Cookman, 10:35. James Colsey, Florida A&M, will be at 10:45. Coach Mickey Joseph, Grambling State, will be at 10:55. Coach Alonzo Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff will be at 11:05. Coach Kendrick Wade with Mississippi Valley State will be at 11:15. Coach Bubba McDowell with Prairie View A&M will be at 11:25. Coach Terrence Graves with Southern University will be at 11:35. Coach Chris Dishman with Texas Southern will be at 11:45. And Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State will be at 11:55. We're going to allow some of our coaches and media members a few more minutes to get logged into our Zoom session. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for our media members, we're going to ask for the continuity of our YouTube broadcast. If our media participants, if you would please keep your video feed on your cameras there for your computer, please keep them off, or your electronic device, please keep your video feeds off. And also, please keep your lines muted unless you're actively asking a question. Thank you. All right, once again, and welcome to our SWAC football head coaches media session for Tuesday, September 3rd. Just a quick few announcements for our participants. If you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. Please limit your question to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we do have additional time allotted for our speakers, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Andrew. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you asking. Coach, if you could please just start us out just kind of recapping your opening game of the season against Auburn.
Yeah, we went up to Auburn, play Auburn University in the SEC. Great atmosphere, great opportunity for our guys to play on the big stage. 88,000 people. As you see, I'm hoarse. You couldn't hear anything. It was loud as all get out. And it cost us a couple times. We got down to the 1 yard line and got a false start because guys couldn't hear. And consequently, we missed a chip shot field goal and didn't get any points out. And got down inside the 5 again and got staggered again and missed another chip shot. But we did hit one field goal Offensively, we moved the ball a little bit. We didn't run the ball very well, but we did protect well. And we got inside the red zone probably 4 or 5 times. Only came away with 3 points. Defensively, um, we couldn't stop. We couldn't stop the run. We couldn't stop the pass. They did what they want to with us on the defense side of the ball. Just outmanned, outnumbered. But again, it was a great opportunity. We got our goal was to get out there healthy, and we did. We got out there healthy. We got a couple of the knee, one ankle, I think, in a groin. But other than that, we was pretty healthy, and that was the goal, to get out there healthy and kind of see where we were and see what we need to work on, things of that nature. So, those money games are like that sometimes, especially when you're playing the SEC football program.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on the Hill are well. Can you talk a little bit about taking that experience, that big stage, if you will, the SEC and the SWAC, taking the takeaways from that game as you move forward, home opener, season opener, and you get the Kentucky State University?
Correct. Again, we know that's a money game for us, and we want to stay healthy, but we're going to try to compete as much as we can and kind of see where we stand. And they got 85 scholarships.
About the adjustment to make the adjustment, if you would.
Those guys are big. Those guys are fast. Those guys are strong. The SEC program, they had a 12th man with the crowd behind them. We just was overmatched, and we just got to go back to the drawing boards and keep working and take care of A&M. We got to try to get better each and every day, and that's what we got to do this week. We got to take care of A&M on both sides of the ball and special teams, and if we do that, we'll be able to take care of Kentucky State.
Coach, follow up, the home game for you. Your fans will be right on top of you. Talk a little bit about a great opportunity at home against Kentucky State.
Yeah, it's a big one for us. First home game. We want to protect that house. It's Louis Cruz Classic, and Louis Cruz is a trailblazer for A&M in the coaching world. And one for Louis Cruz, I may not be coaching here, so we're gonna honor him. And we got Kentucky State first home game, and again, we got to protect the house. We got to protect the house, and we got to come away with a big W this week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Doc, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Give me a takeaway about what you saw from Quad Brown as it's played from Saturday.
He could have played better. Not bad for his first game, big stage, outman. But we had some plays to be made. He could have made a couple more throws. I thought he could have stayed in the pocket a little bit longer, a couple of plays, if he just got out of the pocket when he didn't have to. He missed a couple of reads and took one sack on third down in the red zone and kind of pushed that field goal back a little further that he shouldn't have taken. So, but it's first game, he's gonna make some mistakes. Hostile environment, and you're gonna make your most improvements from game 1 to game 2. So we expect to see him make a lot of improvements this game.
And my follow-up question: what type of adjustments are you going to be making as far as defensive wise against Kentucky State?
We're not gonna make any adjustments. We're gonna play the same defense. We just won't be going up against the same type competition. Kentucky State is D2 team, so we should handle these guys, but we still have to be prepared to do what we do. Auburn they outmatched us, so we can run our schemes all we want. They were just bigger, faster, stronger, and we want to be able to get pressure on the quarterback, want to be able to stop the run, and so therefore they could throw the ball, they could or run the ball, and do whatever they want to do. So they was out there working on stuff, and we just trying to play as hard as we could. Just over max.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynard with Alabama A&M. Any final questions for Coach? All right, we have a question from Perry Daniels.
Coach Maynard, playing these type of games against big in-state schools seems to be a trend around the country for small HBCU schools. Does this assist you in recruiting in any way, playing on that stage?
It can. I think so. These guys, have aspirations and goals of playing at the next level. And so we say, hey, we got Auburn this year. So you're going to get a chance to play against Auburn. You get to put Auburn tape on, so all the scouts can see it. If you can execute against those guys, they know you can execute at a high level against a higher competition. Because a lot of times what they say is, well, your level of competition wasn't good enough. But they know we're playing Auburn, Arkansas, Alabama, Clemson, whoever it may be. And then it give them a chance so that they can play against those guys in that competition. So I think it can help. As long as you can get out of those games healthy and you better get some money for your programs, I think it's okay. And as long as you just play one, I think that's what a lot of teams are doing, just playing one of those games to help out in their athletic budget and try to keep their guys healthy for the stretch run for this season.
And the psychology of the team after a game like that, can you speak to that?
I don't know. I always tell them, all y'all say y'all can play Power 5 football and want to play at the next level. Well, here's your opportunity. You're about to play SEC football team, the best conference in college football. And so you now get to measure yourself and see where you're at. Hopefully they take from it, hey, we got a lot of work to do. I got to get better. I got to get bigger. I got to get faster. I got to get stronger. I got to get my football IQ up a little bit better. Hopefully that's what they get from it and not take the negative that we got a head beat in and they were that much better than us. So what are you going to do different so you could be on the same level as those players is what I hope they get out.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Got time for maybe a few more questions for Coach Maynard with Alabama A&M. All right, next question goes to Bo Carter.
Hey, good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Bo.
So as we get ready for Saturday's game against Kentucky State, got a chance to watch the Virginia Union-Kentucky State game, and Virginia Union was able to control a line of scrimmage and attack them well with the rushing attack. Do you think this be a good opportunity for Donovan Eaglin to possibly have a bounce-back game?
I think so, Mo. I hope so. We got more bullets than they do. Like Auburn had more bullets than we had, so we expect to play well this week. We should. We're playing down. And just like Auburn expect to play well against us, we expect to play well against these guys. But we still got to work hard. We still got to practice. You got to get prepared. Then you got to go out and you got to execute because they're going to come in and try to beat us. So we got to be ready to play. But I do expect for our offensive line to dominate theirs and for Eaglin to have a good game. I do.
And going back to Saturday, you kind of mentioned a little bit during the post game, but can you kind of let everyone know, like, what was kind of the chitter chatter that you and Coach Freeze had, maybe, prior to the contest?
Yeah, I mean, we just chopped it up a little bit. We talked about. First of all, I congratulated him on getting that job and done such a great job to get that job. And congratulate on his recruiting class from last year, and then the one he had this year, the number 5 class right now, with over 15 ESPN 300 top players. So, and then we just talked about the portal and the way the landscape of the game is going, and adding the 20, going from 85 scholarships to 105 scholarships, and the NIL deals, and kind of making people earn the NIL deals. And things of that nature. So we just chopped it up real good. He told me good luck. I told him good luck, which he didn't need the luck. I needed it. But other than that, it was okay.
All right, thanks, Coach.
But Mo, I'm willing to do that every game. I look for other head coaches every game to do that. And I think we should do that. That's just part of the game. The head coaches should go out and chop it up. Okay, Nick Saban and Dabo can go out and chop it up for 5-10 minutes, but we get in our games. Some of our games, the other head coach don't even come. I don't talk to all our head coaches in our league, and I know all of them can hit me right now. But I'm willing to do that. We should do that, but we got some guys that won't come to talk to me before the game. I don't know what's wrong with these guys. I mean, just come and shake hands, man. That's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But we don't do it all the time. But it's okay with me. They don't. But it should something that you should do, man. It's just what you should do. It's the right thing to do. So it is what it is. If they come, we'll shake hands. We chop it up. If they don't, we won't.
All right,
Coach.
All right, Coach Maynard, as always,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Y'all too.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, next we're going to go to Alabama State. Coach Eddie Robinson, I do see that we have Coach with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you asking. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just kind of recapping your most recent outing there at the Orange Blossom Classic versus North Carolina Central.
Yeah, we went down to Miami, played in Hard Rock Stadium, was a great venue, of course, the NFL stadium where the Dolphins play. So the kids were very excited about that, as you can expect. Played a really good team in North Carolina Central, and we went down there, fell behind early, 21-0. Defense gave up a couple long drives. Got to give a lot of credit to Coach Oliver and his bunch. They did a good job mixing up and running the pass, and nothing that we hadn't seen, but guys just weren't in the right place at the right time, and they came out and ran the football and just did a good job. So we have to step that up. Had an interception for a touchdown, so we were down 21-0. Loved the character of the team. We came back with a kickoff return for a touchdown by A.J. Gates. Was able to cut the lead to 10 at one point, kind of swap field goals, swap touchdowns late in the game, and then was down by 7 with a chance to win the game, but we had an interception with the last drive. But overall, just loved the fight that the kids had. Nobody gave up. Everybody was on the sideline still feeling like we had a chance to win the game. We played all the way to the end. But two good teams played, and unfortunately, we came out on the short end of it. So now we have to bounce back. We have Miles College coming at home this week. They beat us last year, so they're going to come here expecting to win. Coach Sam Shade is a guy that I have a lot of respect for. He'll have those guys ready to play hard. But in the meantime, it's our home opener, so we have to play like it. We have to protect our house. We have to let everybody know, especially Miles, that, hey, we're expecting to win this game, and that's what I'm telling the kids. And so we just have to bounce back. We had a great day of practice today, and we're already on that track.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Robinson, how you doing, Doc Holliday?
Pretty good. How's it going, Doc?
Doing good. The big question of the day is Andrew Body's injury. What is the prognosis of his injury from Saturday? Sunday.
He's being assessed by the doctors today, so he actually went in. Monday was Labor Day, so he missed practice to go check on that, and so we'll see. But at the end of the day, Alabama State, we have to be ready to play whether he's available or not.
Okay. And second, we got like I said, you got Miles College coming in. They're coming off a 1-point loss against West Alabama. What are some things you want to change as far as offensive wise? Any adjustments offensive wise going into this game on Saturday?
Yeah, I think we just have to be more physical up front, and we have a big offensive line, and we have to be a physical football team. We have to run downhill. I think it starts with that. And we have a lot of playmakers at wide receiver, so we have to get those guys the ball in the position. We had some balls that were overthrown, guys that were open, and we connected on the long pass, but it was underthrown. Could have been a touchdown, but ended up being a big game, big explosive play. But when a guy's open by 5 yards, you have to connect on that and put points on the board. So put our wide receivers in position to make plays. We have a talented group, and I think we have some guys who can turn a 5 or 10 yard play into a touchdown. So let's give them a chance to do it.
All right, appreciate you for your time, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Montgomery are well. Can you talk a little bit about Andrew Body's his performance? 15 carries, 134 yards, 2 TDs. What you saw from him when he was playing? Tell us a little bit about that.
Andrew Body. I mean, that's the reason he came here. It's the same things that we saw him performing like that against Texas Southern. For Texas Southern in the SWAC. I know it was a couple play. I mean, I enjoyed watching him play. The kid's a fighter, tough as all get out, and just made some spectacular plays. Just pretty much took the game into his own hands. And I think a guy like that, you have to account for him defensively. I know on one of the long runs, he was fatigued. He came to the sideline, and I was like, hey, man, so you've been working all summer, getting in shape. This is the moment for you. You went back in there and scored a touchdown. So I think guys like that, you love to coach because you cannot question his love for the game. And that's what we preaching to the kids. Do you love football?
Coach, defensively heading into your home opener, talk a little bit about the defensive side of the ball and Hornets football and just stopping people.
Yeah, I mean, we have to communicate better. I think a lot of it was us just not lining up. Pre-snap, we're out leveraged, so it's going to be a tough down. And so we have to notice that the guys on the back end got some new faces in there. We have some guys who last year, they didn't have to line everybody up. They just played football because somebody else helped to line them up. Now, those are the guys that have to line the rest of the team up. They have to take on a bigger responsibility. So that's part of everything. Everybody goes through that their first year. I went through it as a player. Everybody else does. You transition from being a young guy to now you're the older guy. You're the veteran in the huddle. And so those guys have to step up as far as pre-snap, making sure that we're lined up, we're balanced up, and everybody knows where the safety's coming from, those type of things. So everything's correctable. Our commitment to playing hard physical defense is still there. And we know that we'll have to play that this weekend. We know that Miles College is going to take some shots. They're going to run the football. They're going to try to establish the run. So we have to be in the right place to give ourselves a chance.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
All right. Appreciate you.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. This is Timona Stapleton from She Loves the podcast. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm good. It was a great opportunity to see you and North Carolina Central live in Miami on Sunday. In your post press conference, you talked about utilizing a dual quarterback system by highlighting the strengths of both quarterbacks. The weather seemed to hamper the pass game a lot this past game. Moving into week 2, what strategy will you have for your offense? Is this the dual quarterback system? Is that something that you're just testing out, or is that something that you plan on continually using throughout the season?
Yeah, man, I think both Body and Jonah O'Brien both had just fantastic fall camps. And I think it was just fair to both of those guys to let them both play. And usually that type of stuff works itself out. Sometimes one guy moves ahead of the other guy and it's obvious who should be the main guy. Sometimes throughout the year, one guy is a little bit off, another guy becomes the main guy for that game, or it depends on situation of what the defense is doing. And so we went into it looking at that. So I think every week it's a different game plan. The Alabama State week 10 will be different between Alabama State week 1. And I think every team is going to have that same type of evolution. So where that's going to go, I can't predict. But both of those guys are competing, and they both of them want to play. They compete hard. They played hard. They respect each other. And they both have the same goal in mind, is to help us win football games.
Thank you for that, Coach.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Last question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
Doing well. How are you today?
I wanted to ask this quick question, especially with you. I know paying great attention to detail on the defensive side of the ball. Have you seen any emerging trends offensively this coming into this season from last year?
Well, I think offenses are realizing that they can still run the football, and I think that's the biggest thing for me. I'm a special teams defense, and offense run the football and be physical, control the clock. So that's my mentality. I think that's still how you win football games. But just looking at what Central did, they came out with 2 tight ends. They lined up in the twin set, and they got downhill and ran the football, and we had trouble stopping it. So hey, good coaches, they don't change it till you stop it. And I think if you look at it, more and more teams, even though you have the spread and we want to pass and everything, I think the ball control offense still keeps you in a lot of football games. So I'm seeing more teams moving to that. Of course, the NFL, they still use the fullback and the 2 tight ends. We have 2 fullbacks on our team. So we still line up in that traditional lead and ISO and trying to be physical. And I think when you're that type of offense, it just sets up everything else as far as the play action, the pass, and you still have to score explosive and big plays. I think that's the one thing that we realize. We want to run the football well, but at the end of the day, it's hard to have 10 or 12 consecutive good plays on offense. So you have to have that guy or that play that can move you down the field with that 40 or 50-yard chunk play while you're running the football well.
Good thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, we go to Alcorn State and head coach Cedric Thomas. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's season opener at UAB.
Had a really good opponent, Thursday night, came out, had a weather delay and kind of got our bearings together. Started out, offensively a little slow, but defensively, those guys, did a really good job. Just maintaining that really good offense and, had a special team miscue, early, put us down 14 and put them in really good field position and kind of settled down, after that. The offense ran the ball pretty well versus the FBS opponent. Anytime you can rush for over 100, you always want that. Just kind of piggybacking off kind of what Coach Rob said. But also defensively, they got some turnovers and some takeaways, which was really good. Played a physical brand of ball. Still too much in the run game. I think it was over maybe 200, 300 yards on the ground, which was way too much. But then overall, had a couple of miscues, we had 3 critical errors by two true freshmen. There were 1 true freshman and 2 redshirt freshmen. So it was good to see those guys kind of get acclimated, even though it wasn't in a positive light. But I just know later on down the line, we'll get those execution issues rectified and situated. But overall, gallant effort from the guys. Got a lot of football left, and kudos to Coach Dill for his second year in that football team we went against. And so we expect to continue to work and continue to get better. We got our hands full this week also.
Appreciate those opening comments. Coach, floor is now open for questions for Coach Thomas. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on the reservation are well. When you think about that week 1 game, going on the road over to Birmingham, can that help you as you guys go into and play your week 2 game against Vanderbilt? Can that help you guys?
Yes, sir. Anytime we can go out and play against somebody else, the practice format is good. We got about 25, 26 practices on that belt. But right now we need some live action. We need game type of atmosphere. We need them anxiety levels to be high, see them stressors go to another high level. So the opponent really doesn't matter for us. We just got to go and compete against others. And I think the biggest improvement will be from week 1 to week 2. So we're excited about who we got to go against, but it's just an opportunity for us to take these guys down and get another crack at it and continue to get better. We want to clean up the miscues from the kicking game. We want to throw the football better, and we want to do a better job of stopping the run. And if we can do that this week, then, we got what we want, and we're moving in the right direction. That's improvement every weekend and every week out.
Coach, McNair played his football career in that stadium there, actually in Nashville. But just talk a little bit about you going into Nashville and obviously what he was able to do with that team and with Alcorn. And that's got to be special to stop by Nashville.
Yeah, it is. It is. We was actually trying to see can we get the guys to walk the stadium. Don't know if the transportation or the time would allow us, but it means dear to us. We know what Coach him and his brother did for the program and stands for the program. And a lot of these kids know it. A lot of the coaches, we had a chance to work with him. So that's always dear to us. And so, to have that opportunity, if we don't get to the stadium, that's something we'll do inside the meeting room, just to be able to pull a few clips up and just kind of talk through, in a small window of the legacy, some guys that laid the foundation before us, and some of these student athletes also.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing? Doc Holliday, HBCU Overdrive.
Oh, I'm blessed. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. I want to talk to you about your quarterback system. You started off with Tyler Macon, and you played your other 2, Xavier Vaughn and Roger Hartsfield. What did you see from all 3 of the quarterbacks for this game? And what are you going to take into the game against Vanderbilt on Saturday?
Each one of them in spurts had command of the offense. You see Mako get the ball on the perimeter, hit truck on a big out route for a first down. You see him use his legs in some of the quarterback run game. You watch Zay got more command of the total offense. He's been in the system, for longer, but also, throw some strikes. Had a couple drops, but he did a good job. And then you see, what I consider the future. Rod Horsfield, throw a big time pass over 30 yards to Diablo McGee. So each one of them guys got a different skill set, and going in, just like I told the staff and everybody else, we're gonna play all three these first 2 weeks, and then we'll see, where that leads us once we get done with this, and we'll name the guy that's gonna kind of take us down the stretch. So my thing is, in today's football with the transfer portal, you can't, you just can't sit them on the bench. That for me, if you don't play them, then they'll be playing against you or playing somewhere else. And our guys have done their part by being on time, doing things the right way, leading the offense inside of practice. So it's only right, for those guys to have opportunity to go out and play football.
And my follow-up question, is there anything you're going to do as far as a defensive adjustment from this past Saturday coming into this Saturday's game?
Yes, sir. We'll do a lot more on the perimeter. We just had practice this morning and worked on some perimeter things. Because I think we're pretty stout up front. Just looking at the core runs, we gave up less than 100 inside the tackles. But it's the perimeter runs where we got to get the safeties and the nickels involved and make sure, some of those outside linebackers got great eye discipline. So that'll start, it started today. And we'll continue to work on that all week to just make sure we show that perimeter run up to make sure guys just can't get to the edge and, get what they want in the run game.
All right. Thank you for your time, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Currently taking questions for Coach Thomas with Alcorn State. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. We are a few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman, so we will pause momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have a question for our head coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your question to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we do have additional time allotted in our coaches' availability, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you take some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out just with an opening statement regarding your team's season opener there at South Florida.
Well, we had a really good situation going to Tampa and Raymond James Stadium. I mean, to play in front of a big crowd. The players, I thought they were receptive to the challenge. We fell short. We had some miscues, positives. We had 17 first downs, possessed the ball 37 minutes compared to the opponents, 22 minutes. Had some highlights, played a couple quarterbacks, Ransom, who was 12 for 19, Luke Sprague, 5 for 8, completed 63% of the passes. And then we had some big time catches from Lorenzo Jenkins, who had 5 catches, 53 yards, negatives, 2 turnovers, which can't happen, and was on 1 in the red zone, and they had 10 penalties. So definitely need to get better there. And then on the defensive side of the ball, had some forced 4 3-and-outs, had a goal line stop, gave up 1 explosive pass. We tackled well on the perimeter, forced 3 sacks. Just think that, the technique fundamentals, attention to detail definitely could have been better, as a group. And then we had an opportunity to score our only points, which was a career-long 48-yarder by Cade Hatcher. So that was a plus. But, other than that, South Florida's, really good football team. I mean, they ended the season really well, scoring almost 60 points against a Power 5 program. And those guys, that tempo offense, our guys got a little winded and their eyes could have been better. But at the end of the day, we had a good practice this morning, and we're working on those key elements that's going to get us better.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Daytona are well. The South Florida game, is there anything you can use from that as you look forward to opening up this weekend with Mercer coming in to Daytona?
Well, I mean, a lot, like I say, finish. I mean, we sputtered, and playing against a good team and a fast team like that, I mean, obviously it's going to prepare you to look at some of those technical and fundamentals that you could have been better on, and then going into this week working on those things, and hopefully we can have a complete game.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing?
Outstanding. And yourself?
Doing good, doing good. Mercer is coming in off a 63-10 win against Presbyterian, and you're going up against DJ Smith, who was 20 of 24, 320, 3 touchdowns and 1 interceptions. What are you doing as far as the DBs and getting pressure on the quarterback for this upcoming game?
Well, I felt like our DBs held up pretty well against, South Florida. And obviously, they have, a lot of NFL prospects on that team. And Mercer is a really good football, program. And hopefully we can, play some man coverage and send, some pressure, because like I said, they have a really good football team. And we have a good football team as well. So we just have to really, work on our technique fundamentals, attention to detail, and then obviously the coordination of the play will be a positive.
And then I guess the theme of the day is quarterbacks from this weekend. Everybody's been playing 2 or 3 quarterbacks for this weekend. What are you going to do as far as coming into this game with your quarterback situation?
Well, the guys realize that they have to come to work and go to work. So each day they're going to get graded, and, we'll know during the week, obviously, as a coach, head coach, assistant coach, you want to feel comfortable going into a game with, that leader. But right now, I mean, like I said, they're going to have to come to work and go to work, and they're going to have to execute, and we have guys that's playing other than Luke that really haven't had any experience, playing at the collegiate level. If they had, it's been limited, with, Michael Barnes and Cameron Ransom. Luke is really the only one who's had a couple games up under his belt. So it's going to be interesting. But, those guys are competing every day, and, competition breeds the best out of anybody.
All right. Thank you for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Compare where your program is today after week 1 to last year where your program was after week 1.
Well, I think last year, you know, the players really didn't know what to expect. Now this year, they understand what we want and how we want it, and it's more so being a player-led team, which that's what we as a staff envision. So, I mean, that's basically where we're at, and the players are more understanding, you know, what to do and how to do it, instead of us telling them everything and then we're expecting the what's, you know, are they going to respond? Well, now they're responding to the coaching and the vision that we have in place for them.
And after week one, are you more confident about where you'll end up in the SWAC, or less confident?
Well, I'm confident because, like I said, I feel like we got several guys playing different spots. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Obviously, they're doing what we thought they were going to do. You know, having depth now is a big key. I mean, you know, obviously when you go back to last year, you know, only having 9 offensive linemen, now you got 17. So, you know, that's a big confidence builder in itself, you know, being able to go out and at least recruit in comparison to last year, just inheriting, you know, a team. Now you got competition that if those guys look behind them, they at least see somebody trying to get better to take their jobs.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, the transfer quarterback, CJ Brooks, out of Orlando, played well with VUL. He's a junior. Do you think he may see the field this week against Mercer, or what do you say about CJ?
CJ is progressing. I mean, obviously he was a late add-on, and for him, I see him working each day, getting better, and he's going to obviously have an opportunity to play. I don't know about this week, but he's always in here. He's always working. He's always trying to get better. I mean, for him, you know, he's just progressing each day. You know, like I said, he was one of those guys. He was like the last guy that we brought in, and right now he's playing a little catch up.
Yes, sir, Coach.
Any final questions for Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman?
Coach, real quick, the BCU fan base, phenomenal. A lot of Wildcats will be in the house this weekend. Just talk a little bit about that home opener. Mercer comes in, and it should be a great game.
Yes, it definitely is. And then, you know, our players, you know, our community, they're looking forward to it. I mean, you know, especially when you have an opportunity to have the band there in comparison to not, I mean, that's a big deal, you know. So, I mean, it's going to be exciting, and we're looking forward to it. And like I said, these players deserve to have a season opener in front of their community.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
You too.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
Yes, sir. You as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we go to Florida A&M. Coach Colsey, once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we've got additional time allotted, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Colsey with Florida A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Doing great, Coach. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's win this past week versus South Carolina State.
Well, I mean, South Carolina State opened up the game and did some really, really good things throughout 3 quarters. You know, we talked about at halftime, you know, finishing the game, you know, and making sure we're doing a lot better with our situational football. And, you know, in the 4th quarter, we took advantage of some 3rd down stops. And then obviously offense was, you know, it was hitting on high levels. And we got to find a couple people open. And scored a couple touchdowns late. So did a great job with situational football. Daniel Richardson again, obviously, you know, no interceptions. You know, but you know, defensively we haven't had a turnover yet, and that's not typical of what Rattler defense is all about. And you know, even though we didn't give up as much yards as we may have given up against Norfolk State, but we gotta tighten up our run game defensively. But important, you know, to obviously be 2-0 right now. Guys persevered, veterans led, and we did a really, really good job with situational football again in the 4th quarter, which ultimately gave us the opportunity to win.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you and everybody on the highest of 7 hills are well. FAMU 2-0. Mr. Richardson 23 of 38 for 282 and 3. Just talk a little bit about that victory. You guys are 2-0 and you move forward.
Well, you know, I don't think a lot of people had us that thought we were going to be 2-0, especially with the 2 games that we were going to play and the type of coach that we were going to be going against. So obviously excited for that opportunity to be 2-0. Daniel Richardson's done a really, really good job. Understanding the offense, understanding the things that we need. He's had a couple of touchdowns that he's thrown where he's beaten pressure and gotten outside the pocket. So, a couple of times it wasn't us. It was him just making a great play and giving us a great opportunity. So, excited for what he's doing for our offense. Obviously we got a tough battle on Saturday, and we know what's at stake. But excited to be where we're at, but still got some things that we need to improve on, and hopefully we have an opportunity to do that this upcoming Saturday.
Have a great week, Coach.
Thanks, boss.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Hey, Doc. How you doing, boss?
I'm doing good. Defensive wise, as far as your run defense, you gave up 154 yards, 74 going to Duhart and 60 going to Adams for South Carolina State. What are you trying to do as far as for this coming up weekend to shore up your run defense?
No, I mean we had a couple instances where we get some unbalance and some tackle over, and we weren't shifting as quickly as we needed to be. South Carolina State, that's what they're known for. They want to run the football, control the clock, and they did that. Guys broke a couple tackles. Where we're striving on being better tacklers. So it's an ongoing process with us as far as making sure we're aligned correctly, making sure we're fitting the right gaps. There's a standard around here where we don't give. We want to make sure they're under 100 yards. So we haven't done that yet, right? It's the first 2 games, so we are below our standard as far as what we want to be doing defensively. So we're making a couple personnel changes where we need to make sure we're taking care of the run before we can take care of the pass. So got a couple things we're going to do differently. A couple of guys, our plan is to play a lot more defensive linemen to keep them fresh. We still got some things we got to work on, and obviously going against the University of Miami this weekend, we better short up rather quickly because they can go over 150, 200 yards as well.
And that goes into my second question. We're going up against Miami, looking like the Miami of old from back in the day. Cam Ward, who's the transfer coming from Washington State. What are your plans as far as pass defense to limit his throws for Saturday?
Well, I mean, you got to tighten the windows down, right? I mean, obviously he's and it's not just covering the guy the first time, right? You might have to cover a guy after he scrambles, right? And that's obviously working on what we call our plaster defense. So you could do a great job covering him the first time, but it just looked like they have been playing for 2 or 3 years already with the type of rhythm that they've had with each other. So the biggest thing that we're trying to simulate or duplicate is one of our guys to act like they're Cam Ward. So that's the hardest thing for us right now, trying to find a guy to be like Cam. Because if we had a guy like that could be like Cam, hell, he'd be playing for us, right? So, those are things that we understand. We're going to go play a team in their home opener who's really, really talented. But we're going to go out and do the things that we do, the things that we're fundamentally that we do, philosophy that we do. And if we get a chance to contain them or try to have a sack, we got to make the sack. But deep on the back end, we now know that hey, might have to cover our guy initially, and then continue to work on our plaster defense because, Cam Ward does a great job of buying time.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, Mr. Hill. How you doing?
Doing well. Every coach from high school to the NFL talks about their team dealing with adversity and how they want to handle it. And through your first 2 games rather, your team has had some challenges and they've answered the bell both times. Already into the season, what can you say about the resiliency that your team has shown and how proud are you of them for being able to bounce back from all the various challenges that they faced already?
Well, I think a lot of that just goes back to our offseason. We try to put them in really, really tough, strenuous situations. and have our guys try to persevere. So that, I think some of that goes with our strength and conditioning coordinator, director of strength and conditioning, Coach Forney. When we talk about our offseason, and we want this circle to be tough, we want it to be hard. We want our guys to have the ability to strain. So we put them through those things during the spring. And then obviously with the transfer that we brought in, we put that into what we did summer-wise as well. We had 75 to 80 guys here the entire summer. And a lot of that was it was seeing who was going to quit, right? It was about trying to see the guys that were going to try to push themselves to the limit. Now, when we get to our games, I think it's the management of our coordinators and what they're doing on the sideline. If something doesn't work, I think the new technology and us being able to use these iPads to figure out some of the things that are giving us issues a heck of a lot faster, as opposed to asking our guys, because sometimes our guys don't give us some of the right information. So, I think the technology that we have is allowing us to fix some mistakes. The strenuous things that we did to them in the spring and in the summer has put us in a position to understand, hey, keep playing, keep fighting, and I think it's just a combination of that. And again, on top of that, we got some good players. These guys that are making plays are good players, right? They, and they're calling themselves to the bell to make sure that they're doing everything that they can do to ensure that we win.
Well, thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, Kendall Bowler, talk a little bit about his development. He's a guy that's very competitive, and this is a great opportunity for not only the FAMU defense, but a gentleman like that who wants some tape and wants to be seen on the big stage.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, he played field corner for us last year. He played boundary corner for us last year, and I know he led the conference and broke up passes and things of that nature, and a couple all conference from different publications, and I think he was an All-American in a couple other publications. But what we did this year was we were going to move him to field corner, right? Give him some wider, some bigger field to cover to show the scouts exactly that he can cover in space, right? Different. So, but then we lose our boundary corner early in the summer, so then I had to move him back to the boundary corner position, all right? Because again, it was a place that he solidified and things of that nature. Well, this past game, our field corner was doing a heck of a job of watching the quarterback. So since he was doing such a good job of watching the quarterback, I allowed him to watch the quarterback from the sideline. He wanted to watch the quarterback during the game, so I allowed him to watch the quarterback from the sideline. So then I had to make Kendall Bowler put him back to the field corner spot. So he's doing a great job being resilient, playing the field corner and playing the boundary corner, different techniques, different mindsets. So he started off a boundary, moved to field, did a really, really good job at that position. And if he has aspirations of playing at the next level, which I think he'll be a really, really good player at the next level, he's going to cover some guys that are also at the next level. So, he understands that his techniques need to be sound. He understands that the mindset needs to be great. He got to be physical at the line. He's got to do all of the things that he's done or is doing that has allowed these scouts to come see him. So if he stays within himself, does the things that he needs to do, he should be in good shape. He's a guy that could have played easily at the Power 4 level this year. He decided to stay where he's at. And so he'll get a good chance to go against some really, really good receivers. And some would say probably one of the best receiving corps in the country.
Coach, last question. The FAMU fan base in South Florida, they'll be in the house riding down the turnpike and going over to Hard Rock. But just talk about the fan base, and it should be a great game.
Should be a good football game. A great game for our fans to experience. Great game for my team to be a part of. You just want to come to the stadium like you always do. Come ready to play. We got to do that throughout the week. We've put. We heard the University of Miami fight song all day today. As we blasted it in the stadium. It's gonna be a loud place. It's their home opener after a big time win for them. So, our guys got to come in ready to play. And I think that as a staff, it's our job to put them in that situation. So, we're taking upon ourselves to make sure that we do it. It's Tuesday. We've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to get ready for them. So we'll try to use every minute that we can to get ready for these guys.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Thank you, sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you very, very much, and good luck to everybody on this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go to Grambling State. Coach Mickey Joseph. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue, please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we do have additional time allotted in our coach availability, we will work our way back around to get additional questions answered. I think Coach might be having some issues with his audio. We're going to try to get that resolved. We'll be back momentarily. All right, we are working to get Coach Joseph with Grambling State connected. I think we're having some technical difficulties. We do appreciate your patience as we work through these difficulties, and we will be back as soon as we're able to get Coach connected. Thank you for your patience.
And then just show video, say, okay.
Okay, we can hear you, Coach.
Can you see me?
Yep, we can see you as well.
All right, let's roll. How y'all doing? Hello.
Hey,
Difficulty.
Oh, no worries, Coach. Appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just kind of recapping your team's opener there against Lafayette.
Well, you know what? When you're playing a game of that magnitude, when you're playing up in competition, like what I like to say, when you're playing guys with more scholarship, your game plan, it's got to click from the beginning, and you got to be hitting on all cylinders. And we did. We gave up some big plays. We couldn't get off the field on third down. We didn't sustain drives on on offense. So like I told the kids, I got to do a better job as a head coach to get the offense to finish and get the defense to get off the field. But we let it go. We let it go in the second quarter. They scored 23 points in the second quarter. If you take that quarter away, the game's closer than what the score reflected.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Morning, Coach.
Morning. How you doing, Perry?
I'm doing super fantastic. Coach, your first game as the head coach of the historic Grambling State University Tigers. Talk about the experience.
Well, it was a good experience. You would like to be the first game of the season to be at home, but you got to play these games. But it was a great atmosphere down in Lafayette. They was doing some remodeling on their stadium, but we had good energy. We had good energy from the kids. We had good energy from our fan base that showed up. Our band showed up. So I thought the energy was there, and we just didn't get it done. We just didn't complete the task that we set out to do. So it was a great experience for me.
And your offense, Miles Crowley, can you talk about his play and his assessment?
Well, I was okay with the way Miles played. He just had the one glaring interception for a touchdown, and we can't have that. But we didn't see that in the scouting report. We didn't see that for them in defense. So it was an unscouted look. But the thing about it, he has seen it before because we get the same thing from our defense. So he knew what he had to do, but he's got to remember when he gets an unscouted look, he's got to revert back to his rules. And his rules would have told him to do something different, and he would have never had to make that throw. He'd have went somewhere else with the ball. But I was pleased the way Miles played. He played with patience. He didn't force anything. And he's just gonna get better. Week in and week out, he's just gonna get better. But I was happy. But just that one glaring mistake that he had, and that's just he in this system. You got to revert back to your rules.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, it's James Hill with James Hill Sports. How are you, sir?
I'm good, James. How you doing?
Awesome. Can you talk a little bit about the opportunity for your home opener at home? You get Tuskegee, two iconic brands. This is special for you personally and for the Grambling Nation. But tell us about the thought process going into your home opener.
Well, we know. I know the history of Tuskegee. I faced Tuskegee in 1999. Was my first time facing them. I was at Alabama State. We played them in the Turkey Day class. So Comegis was the head coach. LC Cole was the head coach at Alabama State. But I understand the magnitude and the history that program brings. They're about winning. They always have good players. They're always well disciplined, and they're always well coached. So my message to the team is don't let the D2 stuff fool you. Don't listen. Don't block out the noise what you're hearing about them, because this is a really good football team. And tradition-wise, they're one of the best HBCUs as far as tradition-wise in the country. So we're gonna prepare. We're gonna prepare. We got to prepare to play them, but we're not. Nobody's taking them lightly. Nobody's overlooking them. Just the stop sign that we have to stop at, the second stop sign. So we're gonna stop. We're gonna hit the brakes, and we're gonna give our full attention to Tuskegee.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday with HBCU Overdrive. How you doing, Coach?
Doc, how you doing? I'm doing good.
Doing good. As far as your run defense goes, what are you going up in coming into this game against Tuskegee? What you saw from Sunday when they played Johnson C. Smith?
Well, you know what? They got two good quarterbacks. One's more of a thrower, and four's more of a dual guy who runs around a lot. So when he gets out the pocket, we got to stick to our guys because he's looking to throw the ball. So we got to do a good job of that. We got to continue to have gap integrity on defense. For the majority of the game Saturday, we did that. They rushed for I think 118 yards. And because that's one thing we preach. We're not going to let people just run the ball down our throat. We got to have gap integrity. But if you don't have gap integrity on the run game, big gashes is going to happen. So I was pleased with that part of the defense. And I think that Tuskegee, with their offense, they show you multiple things. They're going to be difficult to get ready for them. They do a lot of things, and just going back and watching him at Alabama State, he did a lot of things over there. So it's hard to get ready for a team that give you multiple formations, multiple personnels, and multiple plays. You know, like some plays are the same plays, but it's at a different formation. So it's not going to be an easy team to get ready for our defense. So, you know, they're working all night. They're working night and day, you know, because we don't have much film on them. So they got to work night and day to get ready for them.
And of course, Johnson C. Smith, I think they had over 200 yards of rushing in that game on Sunday. Are you going to try to emulate anything as far as with your running backs to kind of take some pressure off of Miles Crowley?
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not here to take pressure off of Miles. Miles is a quarterback at a Division I school, so he's got to feel the pressure. Pressure should be his friend. I mean, he wouldn't be a quarterback for me if he couldn't take pressure. So no, we don't have the game plan where we're going to take pressure off Miles. Are we going to hand it off? Yes, because we got two of the best backs that's in the SWAC with Bull and Trey Bradford. So yes, we're going to hand it off. But Miles understands to get us in the right run plays to make sure that, you know, if the run's there, we take it. If it's not there, we use the RPO. But yes, we're gonna have some running backs. We're gonna play running back by committee, but we're gonna try to play 4 or 5 of them on Saturday.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
All right, Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us, and we look forward to speaking to you again next week.
I appreciate you, and good luck to all you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Next, we go to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize your raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent opening outing versus Arkansas.
Obviously, it wasn't the result that we wanted, but it was a great opportunity for our young men to go out there and play some ball against the SEC opponent, kind of evaluate our football team to kind of see where we were at. It was some good offensively at times. Makai did some really good things for us. The defense, we didn't do as well. Just kind of like Coach Maynard mentioned earlier, we knew it would be tough, but obviously you want guys to be able to make the plays when they come to them. But the most important thing for me was we only had 5 penalties, which says we're a well-coached football team. You're playing a better opponent. And so nobody got injured. That's a blessing. And so now we're looking forward to getting Arkansas Baptist at home this weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Hey, Coach. So first ever meeting with Arkansas Baptist. Of course, the UAB and them are the only 2 HBCUs in the state of Arkansas. How special does that make this matchup, especially with it being the first time?
Well, obviously, that's exciting for us. I mean, we know what HBCU legacies are all about, what they bring. Obviously, those were created because we couldn't go to other schools. And so we had to create our own. And so that is a beautiful thing for us. Coach Wilson, the head football coach, has been there a while and know him well. And so I think it's just 2 great institutions, less than 45 minutes apart. You'd be able to play a game, on a Saturday in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So it's exciting for our fans. It's exciting for the people that support HBCUs. And so that's pretty important to us this week.
And Coach, obviously, whenever you guys play a smaller school, sometimes it's D2 like Miles College last year, sometimes it's NAIA like this one. What's the biggest difference between those 2 levels, do you think? And do you have a preference on who you'd want to play?
No, I don't have a preference, Coach. At the end of the day, man, we just got it handed to us. And so we just want to play the next person on the schedule, and we need to get out there and get us a win. Obviously, we played Miles last year. We got up 14-0, but, they had beat Alabama State, and we end up winning the game, but they're a good football program. Arkansas Baptist won last week, so they're 1-0. I mean, they're going to come in here, think they can win the game. But it's just like Coach Maynard said, man, we're the bigger team, okay? We expect to win this game. But our guys got to also go out there and put the work in starting today at 3 o'clock when we get that practice field. Like, nobody's going to give you anything. And so from that perspective, I don't really care who it is. When you get an opportunity to go out there and play against opponent, you need to step up to the challenge. And our guys have a challenge in front of them. Like, we couldn't stop Arkansas. They scored on 10 straight possessions, all right? I mean, we got a bad taste in our mouth on the defense side of football. Offensive, we didn't score a point. So we got a bad taste in our mouth about offense. On special team, man, they had a couple big returns. So this is a football team that needs to continue to get better. We need to make an improvement from this week. It needs to be a big jump. So we're excited about it, and I would rather do it nowhere but home with our fans.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Pine Bluff are well. When you have an opportunity to play a SEC team and play up, so to speak, talk about the health and strength moving out of that. And then now you flip the script. Now you got Baptist coming in, and now you have an opportunity to impose your will a little bit in that game. But just tell us a little bit the thought process about the health and strength moving into week 2.
Yeah, I mean, for us, obviously, like you said, going into the Arkansas game, we knew it would be tough, but we thought we'd play better. The first drive of the game, man, we had a chance for a pick. The ball hit a corner right in the hand. He's a really good football player. That would change the game. The first 2 drives, man, we had 2 plays. The quarterback gets the ball to the right person, and they don't get the first down. We have a big run that we should make. The tailback hits the wrong hole, and things of that nature. So now we're turning around. You got Arkansas Baptist coming in here. We need to impose our will on them. We need to run the football. We need to throw the football. I mean, we need to play good all the way around. And so for us, obviously, you want to get back on the field when you get whooped the way we got whooped. And so, as I said to the media after the game, man, I can't wait till Saturday come, because I don't know about anybody else, but anybody on this call that lost, man, that's a bad feeling. You can't sleep, you can't eat. And my wife said I need to lose weight anyway. So that's a good thing.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Yes, sir. You too, my man.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Morning, Doc. How you doing?
I don't know if I can go without eating, man. I'm a big guy, so I got to eat something. But now, coming into the game, as far as on Thursday, you gave up 279 yards, 101 to Jaquinda Jackson from Arkansas, transfer from Utah. What are some things as far as your defense for defensive scheme going into this game against Arkansas Baptist?
I'm going to have to piggyback off of Coach Maynard again. All right. We're going to play our same defense. Okay. Our guys just got to make the plays. We played a better opponent. All right. And we had guys in position. We didn't have busted coverages. You may have a guy that stuck his head inside and he couldn't get back outside and do what he was supposed to do. We had guys that were supposed to fit. They just didn't make the plays. That's why those guys in the SEC. And then you tell your players you want them guys to get a chance to play on that level, but they understood the difference. Once you play the game and you go back and watch the film, now you understand why those guys are where they at. They big, they fast, they strong. And so, man, we just got to continue to get better. And as we move forward, our kids will be better. That game helped us out a lot. You need to be able to go against somebody else. And so that's really the only thing that we're going to do different defensively. Like I said, they scored on 10 straight possessions. They were 9-9 on third down. But we had them a 3rd and 7 one time. We had to stop. We don't make the play at 3rd and 15. We got a DB right there in position. I don't know if, like he lost the ball. But so it was things like that. And all this is like in the first, second quarter. So now you're talking about the whole game changes. It's not as bad as it looks. But again, we're going to take ownership of what we put out there. But our guys will be better this week. We're going to coach them harder this week. And I, like every coach on this thing has said, man, we still have all our goals in front of us, and we just got to get better this week.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Any final questions for Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. And tell Coach Maynard I will shake his hand. I don't know who don't be shaking hands. I like to shake hands.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, y'all be blessed, fellas.
All right, next we're going to go over to Mississippi Valley State and Coach Wade. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Tennessee State.
Oh, yes, sir. So, man, this game came down to two things. One team took advantage of opportunities that they had and one team didn't. Unfortunately for us, we was on the other end of it. We missed a lot of opportunities, a lot of game-changing opportunities. The score doesn't truly indicate the game. We just missed out on so much. Had guys running wide open that we missed. We had a couple turnovers that led directly to some points for them. So we just missed out on a lot, but those things can be corrected. The message for this game was go in, we're going to fight for 60. And the kids fought for 60 minutes, but that can't be the end all be all. We got to just execute at a much higher level than we did. And we've turned our attention to Lamar University. So we're looking to get out there next weekend or this weekend coming up and have a better showing.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in the Delta are well. Talk a little bit about your skill players and what your takeaways are coming out of the TSU game.
Yeah, man, we got some guys on the perimeter. We got some dudes out there. We got to get the ball in their hands. We got some game changers on the perimeter. Kerrick Ross, he's that glue guy. I mean, he can do everything. Nate Rimber, the kid we brought in from Elwood Waters. I mean, he's as dynamic as they come. And, we got a couple more guys that can make things happen. So the key is just making sure we can get the ball in their hands and allow them to do what they do best out on the perimeter.
Coach, Lamar, what do you know about Lamar so far from the tape? And then you have an opportunity to go get one. Just talk a little bit about week 2.
Yeah, discipline. I mean, that's the one thing that jumps out. Discipline. They're not going to beat themselves. If you're going to beat Lamar, you got to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. So they're going to be where they're supposed to be. If they're supposed to be in the B gap 100 times, they're going to be there 100 times. They in cover 3. If he's the deep third guy, he's going to be there every single time. So they're a well-coached team, and you try to match their discipline. But if you can get to them on the back end, they're much better in the box defensively than they are on the back end. So if you can get to those corners and safety, you give yourself an opportunity to go out there and have some success against those guys. They're big personnel, 12, 13 personnel. They want to run the ball down here, come right at you. So it's going to be a challenge for us, but like I said, we're looking forward to it.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So it looks like you guys had a really strong fourth quarter. You scored 21 points. Can you talk about what transpired in terms of their coaching, your play calling, and your athletes that contributed to that huge quarter?
Yeah, I mean, it was no adjustments. I mean, the plays we scored on are the plays we missed on earlier. So, I mean, we just executed. I mean, it's that simple. Like nothing more, nothing less. On all 3 of those plays that we scored on, 2 of those 3 calls had already been made early in the game, and we just connected on it.
Thank you, Coach. And then as a follow-up question, it looks like you utilized multiple quarterbacks in this particular game. Can you talk a little bit about your quarterback room and the ability to switch them out and still have, I guess, Jaden Sisk? He had 7 completions on 10 attempts for 110 yards and a touchdown. And then you had Ruben Lee as well, who was able to convert a touchdown. Can you talk about your quarterback room?
Yeah, I mean, so it was really injuries that caused it. Tajarian got hurt, and we brought Jaden Sisk in. Jaden Sisk ended up getting knocked out as well, so we ended up bringing Ruben in. So, it wasn't planned. It just kind of happened. But again, all 3 of those guys are really good football players. So all of them are capable of running the offense. So, luckily for us, we was able to get those guys out there, get them up under the lights, and let those guys go out there and perform. So we feel good about all 3 of those guys. Jaden is still in concussion protocol, so, it's up in the air this week as far as if he'll be able to go. But again, Tajarian and Ruben went out this morning, had a really good practice. So, we're going to keep getting after it until we figure this thing out.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning, Doc.
All right. First thing first, the turnovers. What are you trying to do as far as this coming up game against Lamar to limit the turnovers in this coming up game? Sorry about that.
Protect the ball, not turn it over. Just do what you were coached to do. Well, we put the ball on the ground 3 times, and we lost one of them. We do ball security every day, so we're going to continue to do what we do. But again, you put the onus on the players as well now. Our job is to coach. So our job is to make sure we're doing all that we can do, but those guys have to do what they're coached to do as well. So just protecting the ball is something of the utmost importance. You know, you can't give Lamar extra possessions. They're a slow, methodical team, so you're going to be limited with your possessions anyway, so you definitely can't give those guys any extra possessions.
And my follow-up question is with Tajarian Williams, you say he went out with an injury. Do you know the prognosis about his injury?
Yeah, he's fine. He got he fell on the ball, so he kind of hurt his ribs, and he ended up getting hit in the eye, so he got a scratch over his eye, but he practiced this morning, so he's full go, so he's back, so he's good to go.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Brandon, good morning.
Right. Wanted to talk to you about your run defense this past weekend. You were largely able to keep the Tennessee State run game in check. They looks like they got away on a few plays in the fourth quarter. But looking at the first 3 quarters, as far as your run defense, what are some things that you like that you were able to do? And will you be able to translate some of those things into your upcoming game this week?
Yeah, we hope so. But again, they just gap sound. I mean, the guys were where they supposed to be. I mean, it's not any rocket science. I mean, it's do your job, do it at a high level, do it consistently, and guys were just where they supposed to be. I mean, it's that simple. If you should be in B gap, be in B gap. If you're A gap guy, be in the A gap. So again, it's just kind of doing your job at a high level. It's not anything strategically that we did. It's just that guys did what we asked them to do. And we look forward to building on that because we have to be gap sound this week because these guys will, if they can, they'll rush for 350 on you. They look to do that. So we got to be on top of our game this week as well.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well,
any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we are a few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach McDowell. We will pause here just for a minute or two, and we will be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we do have additional time allotted, we will work our way back around to get additional questions answered. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach McDowell with Prairie View A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, everybody.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Texas Southern.
Yeah, let me first say that it was a great atmosphere for Labor Day Classic. Again, one of the best ones I've been a part of by far. I mean, again, just seeing the fans come out and support both sides. Again, just kudos to Prairie View. Again, guys came, the fans came out, showed up big time, and that was really good. Again, then starting off with the game, it's a game where, again, telling guys, my guys all week long, again, no matter, that we got, 9 wins, we still got to play the game. And we left a lot of things out there offensively, dropping a lot of balls. We had a chance to, in the red zone, go in and score. Then Coach Lucas, should I say, got, tried to run it and, as he found out, you can't, go against some guys, you got to learn how to slide at some point, and he ended up hurting his shoulder at that particular time. But again, And at that particular time, I thought, we was going back and forth. It was going to be a defensive battle throughout the whole game. But unfortunately, for us, I think we got a little tired, a little worn down in the fourth quarter, and Texas Southern took advantage of it. We had many chances, going back and looking at film, showing the guys yesterday that if they just had executed half of the plays that we looked at yesterday, it would have been a different game. We're dropping a lot of balls. We missed a big throw to James Burns on a big throw on a goal that I think will surely change the momentum of the game. And then again, just defensively, when having a chance to get off the field on third down, something always happened. We'd get a penalty, and then it would sustain the drive. So again, we just got to make sure that we get these guys ready to go for Northwestern coming up. Again, not a bad game defensively, not a bad game offensively, but again, just got to, cut down on the mistakes and make the plays that they're capable of making. I would love to, as we talked to the staff, run the ball a little bit more, and open it up a little bit more. We got 4 guys back there that can go. So we need to, put the ball in their hands and see what they can do. And so we're going to definitely do that this week as well. So again, just getting back to the fundamentals, and again, just making sure that these guys understand, that game is over with. We got to get ready for Northwestern and get back on the winning streak.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, how you doing, sir?
What's up, JH? What's going on, buddy?
Hey, pretty good. Your quarterbacks, Mr. Peters and also Lucas, both of those gentlemen combined, you got 40 attempts. They threw it around, but just tell us a little bit about your quarterback play, what you were able to see in that rivalry game.
Again, I think they did really well. Again, Lucas came out and did some things, and again, he was just, the completion would have been much higher, of course, if we had been catching the ball, and we dropped a lot of balls, but he himself also, as he looked at yesterday and during the course of the game, made some mistakes as well that could have easily helped us gain momentum in the game had he done the right read at that particular time. And then, of course, when we took him out, Peters came in hot, slinging it, hitting everything. And, at that point, I said, okay, now we're ready to go, thinking that, we were going to go down, the momentum has shifted. Then all of a sudden, he started making bad reads as well. So again, I don't know what it was. Again, it was just things that they was trying to do and make plays that, instead of just, doing what the offense and defense, what the offense coach asked them to do.
Coach, Northwest State, another opportunity, week 2, moving forward with Prairie View. What do you see so far?
Again, they're a 3-3 stack team, and again, we're just gonna have to get back to the fundamentals. Coach Wade talked about gap control, how well they did, and then we didn't do that. Down the stretch, where it was what time factor played into it. And again, I think we just got a little tired. We just got to figure out how, again, rotate more guys in, keep guys fresh and ready to go against a big team. Like I said, they're defensively they're a 3-3 stack, and offensively, they're big, well personnel. A little wildcat, with number 17 in tight end. He also played, a little quarterback as well. So we're gonna have to go to Northwestern, be ready to go, take care of our responsibility, and I think we'll be okay. Again, like I said, if we had to hit 50% of those plays last week against Texas Southern, it would have been a different ball game. Momentum, I think, really would have shifted our way. But again, we talk about it now. They have to, again, as we always say, they got to be about making plays out there, every down.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Thanks, sir.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
What up, Doc?
I'm good. Talk about the time of possession. Texas Southern had the ball 14 more minutes than you did, and that comes up down to running the football. What are some things you're going to be looking at coming into this game against Northwestern State, as far as you try to alleviate taking some of the pressure off your QB and running the ball a little bit more?
Again, like I said, we just got to run the ball more. And again, we got some backs back there that can run the ball. Again, we just got to get them into a play, to where they can make some plays. And again, we got really 4 good guys, and even with Jamarius Brooks, with the walk-on, number 27, who came in last year as a walk-on and did some good things for us. So we got to be able to control the ball. And we also got to be able to, do what we do. Again, we didn't get a chance to really do what we do because we was, guys are still kind of confused of what their alignment was and where they're supposed to be at on the field. So we couldn't go as fast as we wanted to, as we've been doing the whole camp. So, we got to get those things fixed and, and hopefully that will help us out, as far as moving the ball as well.
And going into this game, you're traveling to Natchitoches, Louisiana, going up against Northwestern State, pretty much almost like a new team because of what happened last year. What are the things that you took from watching the film against from their last opponent from this weekend?
Again, I think we can play against them. What we watched Tulsa play when they played against Tulsa, and and we feel that we can match up with them. Are they bigger? Absolutely, but I think that overall we can match up with these guys. If we go out and just do what we're capable of doing offensively and defensively, again. We got to make sure that we're gap sound. We got to make sure that we're assignment sound because again, down the stretch, again, we had Coach Rock had several great plays called, third down plays called, and we screwed it up because we're trying to make plays instead of doing our job. And that's what we got to get these young men to understand. Go out, do your job defensively, offensively, and as well as special teams. We're gonna be okay. If we do that, we're gonna be okay.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
What's up, T?
Not too much. Hey, quick question. What's Lucas's what's his status for the second week? You said he injured his shoulder.
Yeah, he'll be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 4. Yeah, like I said, probably 6 at the most. Right now we're going in with Cam Peters and Jaden Johnson. They'll be the two going forward right now. Again, we're gonna let these two kind of battle this week and see who we're gonna start for Northwestern. But again, we got 2 good quarterbacks that we feel that can move the ball, get us in position to make plays, and and hopefully get the ball on, get some scores, and again, just give us a chance, So we feel good about these 2 young men, once they settle down and do what they're supposed to do and not trying to do too much. And I think that's where Cam kind of fell into it late. Like I said, he came out on fire and trying to do too much instead of reading and doing what he's supposed to do offensively. And a couple of times he had to hand the ball off, Connor would have been hitting the goalpost, but he didn't. He pulled it, and then caused us, punt the ball. So again, just getting him to understand, like, hey, take what they give us, and we'll be okay.
And how important is it going to be? I mean, and you kind of mentioned this a little bit, for you to get the running game kind of going to maybe help take some of the pressure off. How important is that going to be?
It's going to be very important. Again, we got 4 good running backs back there. And again, as we talked in staff, I was concerned, like, God, we're 69 yards and we got these dudes back there that can run. Let's put the ball in their hands, see what they can do. And if we need to make adjustment from there, let's do that. Let's have that game plan set if we can't run the ball. But at least let's try it and see what happens. Because again, these guys can make something happen just on their own if they're given the chance.
Thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to Lionel Mosby.
Hey, Coach Bubba.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Doing good. Coming into the season, one of the units that you're really high on was the defensive line. I want you to just talk a little bit about what's your assessment of the D line play this past weekend, and also on the other side of the trenches, your offensive line. What did you see from them, and what do you think those guys can do moving forward?
Again, I think D line played really well. Again, I think they kind of wore down a little bit in the end. And again, and then that calls for these guys to start doing things on their own and not doing what the defense called for them to do. As Coach Wade said earlier, he didn't have any problem with their guys hitting the gaps and having gap responsibility where we did down the stretch. And again, I think a lot of that, was kind of fatigue because we was on the field quite a bit, and as I told him, we got to figure out how to rotate, these defensive linemen in, so we can make sure that they get adequate reps, but not get really tired. But overall, I'm proud of those guys, what they did, again, other than down the stretch. But no, we're gonna get back to where we need to get back to defensively. Again, just offensively, young bucks, man, we're young up there, not a whole lot of experience with those guys, but they did well. They did well, and then I think they did well enough to where, again, we go back to the running part, they can be in somebody's way, and let our running backs do their jobs, and that's all we're asking these guys to do. They're gonna have a challenge with Northwestern this week, absolutely, but again, we're gonna have to figure out how to help them out with the running and the passing, the RPOs and all that. So, we do that, we're going to be okay.
And just when coming into the season, obviously there was big hopes for this season, right? Big goals in front of you guys. What was your message to the team after this game, this disappointing loss, about the road ahead to get back to the SWAC championship game and have a chance to win that game?
There's just one game. That was just one game. We still have an opportunity. We've been there before. So again, we just got to go back out, fundamentally get things done in practice. That's, always going to carry over to game time. Again, it's just us going out, doing what they are told to do as players, and we're going to be okay. And like I said, it wasn't all bad, as the naked eye would see out there in the field, then as it was, looking at the film, saying, if he had been in this gap, had he not had this face mask, had he not, roughed the passer on this play, little things like that, again, that kept the drives going defensively when we should have got off the field, makes a big difference. And again, that's one, I think that ties into, defense getting tired as well in that fourth quarter drive. And again, as my message again was to them, hey, we still have an opportunity, but again, we just got to go out, take care of our business, do what we need to do, offensively, defensively, and special teams, and then, again, if we do that, we're going to be okay, and just let the chips fall where they may. But again, I'm sorry, but again, our goals are still there. I mean, nothing changed. We lost one game against Overtown Robbery, and but again, we still have a chance.
Thank you so much, Coach Bubba.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next, we go to Southern University. Coach Graves. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we have additional time allotted, we will work our way back around to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Graves with Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Drew. How are you?
We're doing great, Coach. Appreciate you asking. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's season opener versus MEAC State.
Well, definitely disappointed, but not dismayed. I thought we had an opportunity to go to Lake Charles and win a football game against McNeese. Guys played hard, made a lot of mistakes, which consequently cost us the ball game. I thought the Jaguar Nation showed up big, showed out. The fan support was great. The band was there, giving us the energy that we needed as well. I thought defensively, we played well for almost the whole football game, but we also made some mistakes there. There's no question that we have to be better on offense and special teams. But again, I thought the guys didn't quit. The guys played hard, tried to finish, but I think we missed an opportunity to win a football game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry. How are you?
I'm well, sir. Hey, so you led for 3/4 of this game and kept McNeese out of the end zone for those 3/4, and then fourth quarter, 3 touchdowns by McNeese. What happened, Coach?
Well, we had a few miscues in the kicking game. It wasn't a block kick. It was a botch kick. Josh Griffin didn't get enough elevation on the ball. He hit one of our offensive linemen in the back. The ball shot back, 30, 40 yards. And it gave them momentum. And it was easy. They had two touchdowns, one from the 6-yard line. And of course, the snap was snapped over our punter's head. Kenny Pham did a great job of going out and kicking the ball out the back of the end zone. However, it was illegal touching, so they got the ball basically inside the 5-yard line, and they scored. I mean, we talking about a defense that played pretty stiff and played pretty strong for almost 4 quarters, and when those things happen, sudden change, you want them to go out there and get those stops. And it's kind of tough when that happens. And we just got to I got to do a better job of making sure that we don't put those guys in those situations. And basically that's what happened. It's not a whole lot other than that needs to be said about that.
And quarterback play, Coach. In this week's home game, can we possibly see more of the freshman quarterback playing?
No, we're gonna go back with Noah. Noah won the job, and we put T-Set in the game to kind of change a little things. We saw that Noah was pressing a little bit, trying to win the ball game as opposed to just doing what he needed to do to get us going. And we did a little sudden change, but we're gonna go right back to him. The thing that we have to do, he has to just let the game come to him and not press and stress and do those things. But hopefully we'll get a chance to play a number of quarterbacks if we play the way we're capable of playing.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach, I hope you and everybody in Baton Rouge are well. Can you talk a little bit about using week 1 as momentum to fuel you guys in week 2? The special teams, talk about special teams and defense being able to finish the game.
Good morning, Jim. Well, teams, you find out what your team's made of when you go from game 1 to game 2. That's what you want to see. You want to see the improvements from game 1 to game 2. I think that, again, defensively we played well enough to win the football game. Sudden change took a toll on us a little bit, but I think there's some things. Now, they didn't do everything 100% correct, but again, we played well enough to win, hold the team to 7 points until the 4th quarter. That's something to be said, but we definitely got to clean up the things that we need to clean up defensively in terms of gap integrity and coverage and fits and things of that nature, and making sure we shore up our tackling and being more opportunistic when we get a chance to get interceptions. And we got 2 fumbles. So those things we got to continue to work on because we work on them daily in practice. Special teams wise, it was more technical and concentration. I mean, Josh got to focus on getting the ball up. He has a strong leg, a great leg. He's instead of driving the ball, he needs to do what he did naturally. I talked with the specialist yesterday, and I told him to stop overthinking everything, and just go ahead and do what they've been blessed to do and been gifted with naturally. I think sometimes they go to these camps and with these specialists, and they start to overthink or overdo some things, and I told them, do what you've been doing all this time before you went to those people, because you've had success. So just do what comes natural, and I'm no question about it. I think they'll bounce back. They feel the brunt or the weight of the loss on them, but like I told them, we win as a team, we lose as a team, and there were a lot of people focusing on the special teams. But you got to remember, we threw an interception in the green zone or the red zone in the 2nd quarter, which was, to me, that was more critical than the botched field goal and the snap. That was very critical because now we get a touchdown or we get a field goal. Now the ball game is 10-0. hats off to McNeese for winning, but I didn't think that had we gone up, 10, 17 points, I don't know if they would have been able to come back and win that football game. And that's the part that's tough for me as a head coach, because we didn't take advantage of the opportunities to score points to win the football game.
Oh, Savannah comes in. Mumford is a tough place to play if you're not a Jag. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, Savannah, yeah, Mumford is a really tough place to play if you are visiting for the visiting team. But, Coach Kelton and I are friends, really, really close friends. We go back almost 30 years. Coach Kelton's a defensive-minded coach, so he's going to have his guys ready to go and ready to play. I know he's pushing the an opportunity to play up, and he's going to have those guys ready to go on offense and defense and in the kicking game. And then him and his coaching staff, and they have some athletes. And as I told the team yesterday, is that what we can't do is focus on the fact that they're a Division II football team. And I told them, the only reason they're Division II, or they have players at Division II, because of a number of things. And I said, so don't get it twisted. Division I and Division II, FCS and FCS and Division II, it's not that much difference in terms of there's some numbers scholarship wise, but talent wise, they got some talent on those teams. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself in a dogfight. So what we have to do, we have to focus on getting better. And I told them, I said, we have a bitter taste in our mouths because we lost a game that we feel like we should have won. We feel like we're the better team. McNeese is the better team that day. So the only way to get rid of that bad feeling is to beat the next team. And so we got to go out and we got to be dominant in all three phases of the game and get this bad feeling out of our mouths.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, we'll take one final question from Pat Timlin.
Hey, Coach, long time no see.
Hey, Pat.
Congrats on coaching your first game. Wish it could have gone your way. I kind of wanted to ask more about this Savannah State game. How did it come to be? You guys have never played in the long histories of your football team. How did the conversation and this game kind of materialize?
Well, the schedule was done before I even became the head football coach. So honestly, I have no idea. I know this is the coach Pete Richardson Classic. So the game was, the schedule was already set before I became the head football coach. And it's so funny because Coach Kelton and I were together at the American Football Coaches Association Conference convention in January. And we were laughing about now we have to go against each other. And so that was a good moment. But hey, he's gonna do a great job with his guys, getting them prepared. We're gonna do a great job getting our guys prepared. I know he's gonna come in here fired up. So we gotta be ready to go. First home game, we gotta protect our house. The Jaguar Nation is gonna be here. It's gonna show up and show out. The atmosphere is gonna be electric, and we gotta give them a great showing and a great outing.
He said that you guys usually text each other good luck every now and then, but you guys haven't texted in a while. Any game text coming this week or no?
No, we hadn't talked this week. So we probably won't either. So I'll see him on Saturday, and we'll exchange pleasantries before the game, and then we'll put it in the air and play ball.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, Drew. Go Jags.
Appreciate it, Coach. All right. Next, we're going to go to Texas Southern University. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach Dishman, if you would please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we've got additional time allotted, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Dishman with Texas Southern. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing, ladies?
Great, Coach. Appreciate you asking. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's win this past weekend versus Prairie View A&M.
Well, the victory that we had versus Prairie View was a long time coming. We faced a very good team. We knew it was going to be tough. Um, so our alums, and our other student athletes, and our athletes is in the past that victory was for them.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
Hey, Charles.
I wanted to ask this question from a physicality standpoint. I think Coach McDowell alluded to it. Prairie View sort of wore down in the fourth quarter, but just talk about the work that Jonas Seawright and Coach Sorrell have done with your team in terms of prepping you for this game and for this upcoming season.
Well, not just Justin and Jonas. Our coaches as a whole has done a good job of prepping these guys, getting them ready for the SWAC. We have goals here. We have 3 main goals trying to accomplish to make us have a great season. One of those goals we accomplished was beating Prairie View. They're the champions of the West. We knew it was going to be a tough game. We were in their house. So we were just lucky to come out with a win.
I had a quick follow-up. I wanted to talk about the play of Danny Green, 81 yards in this game, but he really had really gritty runs in between the tackles, but comes from a tremendous program in South Oak Cliff. Talk a little bit about his play.
Well, he got a great coach over here. Kimball Anderson is a very good coach. He's very detail-oriented of what he do with Danny, and not just Danny, the other running backs. I think as a coaching staff, I think our coaching staff really grind on this game. Really was very deep on what they do. And we coach the little things here. We coach the detail. We coach the eye expressions and how you step. And we do drills to make sure our guys understand the why of the drills.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone are well. Talk a little bit about Cooper, his development. He goes 19 of 29 for 126-1 with 1 pick, and the thought process heading into the Rice game.
Well, our process is the same heading into the Prairie View game. We just try to go at a time. We got to realize it's 11 versus 11. Everybody win their one-on-one battle. We should come out victorious. So I'm going to try to go into the Rice game with the same mindset of winning that game on someone else's home turf, and just go one play at a time. No matter something happened, move on to the next play, because you can't do nothing about it. The play just happened. Move on from the next play and learn from it. And we just try to get anywhere between 10% better each and every day.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
All right.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach Dishman. Can you talk about the dynamics of playing your first game against your former teammate and friend and coming out victorious there?
Well, Bo and I are both very competitive people, so have all due respect for Coach McDowell. He has helped me a lot. I think one of the reasons why I'm sitting in this is because of his commitment or his help to me, what to say, what to do, say what not to do. So I have very good respect for my brother in Christ, and also my brother just have different mothers.
That's awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
I'm good. You?
I'm doing good. Asked this question to Coach McDowell about the time of possession. You had the ball 37 minutes in the game. What was the things that you took away from this game as far as running and passing the ball and basically playing keep away in this game?
Well, some of the little things. There was more yards out there for it. Some of our guys made some wrong cuts. Some of our O-line blocked the wrong person. So it was more yards out there to get, but coaching staff, we always go back and look at what we could have done in practice to help those guys understand what we wanted in the game. So that's what we did on Sunday. We came here early on Sunday and look at the coaches' mistakes first. What is the coaching staff we did not prepare our guys for? So that's what we doing now before the Rice game, is making sure that we have the little things there. The big things, everybody wants the big things. It's the little things that we try to coach and have a high football IQ. We want our guys to have a high football IQ. So when they out there, they understand the game and understand what need to be.
All right. Do I have time for a follow-up question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my follow-up question is, a lot of people were surprised when you made the actual QB announcement with KJ Cooper instead of Jace Wilson. What was the things that you saw in KJ that you did, you felt like he was the one to go out there to lead the team to victory?
Well, first of all, I tell from quarterbacks to specialists, nobody have a job. Every job is won during the week. Me as the head coach, I don't feel like I have my job until I win it through the week. So we have a competition team each and every week. Because you start 1 week, don't mean you can start week 2 or week 3. Everybody's competing each and every week for a starting position. Our nurse just to go out there to be part of the first 11. I can't say starters. We don't have starters. We have a first 11, a second 11, or whatever. And everyone has to earn the right to be part of that first or second 11.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Uh-huh.
All right, we'll take one final question from Timona Stapleton.
How are you doing today, Coach Dishman?
Miss Mona, I'm well, and you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. And of course, you had a great welcome to the SWAC moment with this game. Your offense displayed impressive balance today, or not today, well, on Saturday, with 180 yards passing, 166 yards rushing. It looks like you guys were perfect, 3 for 3 in the red zone. How pleased are you with the execution in critical situations with your play calling and coaching, and also your team's ability to capitalize on it?
Well, Ms. Mona, you know, it's four things that we call the formula here that we're trying to win. Win third down, score in the red zone, win a turnover battle, and have less penalties than your opponents. If you can accomplish and win all 4, or at least 3 of the 4, then you should be able to win the football game. So that's the formula we're going by here. And we was able to score in the red zone. We was able to win third down. There wasn't that many turnovers. We lost. We did not win the turnover battle, but we had less penalties than our opponent. So we won 3 of the 4. We won 3 of the 4 formulas.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay. Hello?
Go ahead, Terrence.
Hey, Coach.
Terrence?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, you?
Good. Hey, I wanted to talk about KJ real quick. Find out how's he doing. Saw him, coming off on crutches.
No, he's great. You know,
He's great.
Yeah, he's great. He was jogging in class this morning to in the Tiger Walk. He jogged to class, so he's doing good. You know, he did have a little bruise, but it wasn't nothing to be over concerned about. You know, like I said, I saw him this morning jogging in class, so he's hyped and excited and ready to go again.
So he'll play on Saturday.
I'm expecting him to play. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Like I said, I saw him jogging this morning. Unless something happened between this morning when I saw him until Saturday.
Okay. Hey, and how about, I mean, what did you think of his play and also Wilson? I mean, your quarterback play overall on Saturday. What were your thoughts there?
I thought Coach Smith and Coach Rollins did a good job of calling the different plays that can help those guys win. And as coaches, we got to help players. You know, it's always and always will be. I keep telling my players, it's always and always will be a player's game. All right, coaches are going to draw up all these pretty X and O's and we're going to do this and have this great game plan. But if your player cannot execute your great game plan, then you have to curtail your game plan toward player execution. So I think we did a great job of calling the plays that our players can do.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Sounds good, gentlemen. Have a great one. And ladies.
Thanks, Coach. All right, next we go to Jackson State. Head coach T.C. Taylor. Once again, if you have any questions, Please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question. Just for our media that aren't participating, I saw we had a question in the chat. We try to get as many questions as we can get answered, but obviously out of respect for our coaches' time, we obligate them for 10-minute blocks. We try to stay as close to that 10 minutes as possible. But once again, we do try to get as many questions asked and answered from our media and answered by our coaches. But again, there are time constraints, so please always keep that in mind. Happy to be joined by Coach Taylor, Jackson State. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Great, Coach. Appreciate you asking. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's outing versus ULM.
Yeah, it was a solid football game for our program, going against a FBS opponent that was on our schedule. I talked to the football team about that game, going into that game, about giving us a chance of winning the game in the fourth quarter. I thought that our guys came out there and competed and gave us that opportunity. Had a couple plays that we shot ourselves in the foot, a turnover in that football game where we're driving, and also a critical penalty, a face mask, personal foul, by one of our players that's just playing hard, and just incidental face mask there. But we can't make those mistakes. We talk about the 8 penalties in that football game also. So those are some things we got to get cleaned up. But very pleased about the way that our football team came out and competed. I thought we matched up well. In order enough to be in that football game and give ourselves an opportunity to win. So we got something to build on that I'm very excited about going forward with this program.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
What's going on, Chuck?
Hey, I know we don't normally start off questions talking about special teams, but how big a weapon is Matt Knoll in terms of what he's able to do to flip the field?
Oh, it's huge to have a guy like Matt Knoll on your team. You talk about all the accolades he had going into this football game preseason, all conference, all American and everything. So he lived up to it in this game. I think he averaged close to 52 yards per punt. Anytime you have that kind of weapon that can flip the football field and, get back those teams up, back the other opponent up, it is great. It's awesome that he's on our team, but he's also a great leader. He speaks out a lot to the team. They listen to him, and, he goes out and show it in his play.
And quick question, follow up. Lane, although they haven't played yet, just talk about this program, a program that knocked out Tennessee State back in 2022.
Byron Brown, the head coach, is a good friend of mine. We played against each other. He was at Grambling. I was here at Jackson State. So I know he's going to have that team fired up and ready to go. They hadn't played a game yet, but, that being at their first game, they're going to be fired up, get the opportunity to come in here and, beat a Jackson State football team. And like you said, they went on the road a couple years ago and beat Eddie George and the Tennessee State Tigers. So we got to come out ready to play, execute, play fast, play a physical football game, and be ready to play on our home turf.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach TC, how you doing today?
I'm good, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Let's talk about the penalties. You 8 penalties for 60 yards. What are you? How did you address the team as far as trying to clean up the penalties in the first game?
I think. It was none of the penalties was really bonehead stuff. It was a lack of focus, what I told the team. We had a false start on a 3rd and short that backed us up, put us in a 3rd and long situation. Talked about the personal fouls, things like that. So that's just something we got to be better at as a football team. And it comes down to the discipline of the football team, and that's what I told them. I thought they played hard, and gave 110%. That's what I asked for them. From this football team, but we can't go out there and commit 8 penalties against a FBS opponent in Monroe and expect to win the football game. So that's something we definitely emphasized starting at what it was Sunday when we got back in here with the guys, that we got to get that cleaned up going forward, Doc.
And my follow-up question, you had 59 yards on 24 rushing attempts that averaged out to 2.5 yards a carry. As far as the running back room goes, are you still going to go ahead and continue starting the freshman, or are you going to look for veteran leadership in the running back room?
I thought Ahmad stepped up and played hard when he needed to, until we get those other 2 guys back in here. I thought Ahmad played well. He showed great strength levels against the FBS team, had some real strong runs, but we got to continue to rep Travis Terrell. I think he can bring something to the table. put him in some different situations offensively where he can get in space and show that elite speed. But I was very pleased the way Ahmad that stepped up and played football. We got to get a Zeke going too. Zeke is a kid that played for us last year, had some really explosive runs. So we're working on getting him out there on the football field too, and as well as Nate Blunt.
I appreciate you, Coach. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Thank you, Doc. Be safe.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for taking my question. So Coach Taylor, tackling was an area of concern last season. Facing an FBS team like ULM, it seemed like the defense still struggled at times to bring down ball carriers. It looks like ULM was able to get 204 yards rushing on Jackson State. How do you assess the tackling in this game? And what coaching adjustments have you made or plan to make to address this issue for the upcoming season?
That was a big deal for us right there. It was yards after the contact. Their running backs ran the ball extremely hard. Their offensive line, played with great physicality. We just once we got on the football field today, to answer your question, we opened up with tackling drills, tackling circuits. I told the defensive staff that's what we wanted to do. They went out there and start working those things. I thought we got better in the second half with the tackling. We came up in the first half kind of eyes caught in the lights, but some guys stepped up in the second half. But you're correct, though. It was a big deal for us last year. And as the head coach, I got to get that fixed going forward when we get to a conference opponent.
Thank you. And just as a follow-up question, I know Doc kind of honed in on the 59 yards rushing. It's clear that the passing game was effective. Are you going to work on the offensive line, creating better pockets and lanes for your running backs in this week coming up to Lane?
Definitely. That's a big emphasis going into this game. I told them in the team meeting to the offensive side, the offensive unit, particularly the O-line, in order to win a championship, we talked about playing for a SWAC title. We got to be able to run the football. We have the talent. We have the backs. We just got to go out there and be physical as a unit. We got a lot of guys returning from that last year's O-line. So we got to be able to run the football. And that's something we really, looking to do this weekend. But I thought, with Monroe coming out and playing keep away, I think we only had a total of 53 plays in the game. But if we get in 24 attempts, we got to definitely, be able to grind out more than just 50 yards on the ground. And that's a big emphasis this week against the Lane team. Try to get this running game going offensively because, that's a big part of what we want to do, what I want to do and my vision for this football team.
Thank you, Coach, and I look forward to the rest of the season.
All right. Thank you.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Oh, I don't need no questions. I'm done with asking questions for today.
All right. James Hill, did you have anything?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Jackson are well. Talk a little bit about Morgan. He's the QB. He makes it happen. When you see his development, and we know from Canton and Syracuse and all the things he can do, tell us a little bit about the quarterback.
Yeah, I thought he played a solid game for us on Thursday night. He came out and did exactly what we wanted him, asked him to do as a quarterback. He showed great leadership out there. He did have a couple missed throws where would have generated a couple of explosive plays, but not a bad football game. I think he ended up with 23 or 28, over 200 yards, 230 yards, ran a touchdown and had a great connection with Jonas Fortillion. So he's shown some growth. He's shown some growth. He's reading defenses better. He's rallying his teammates a little better this year. So, it's still a process with him. It's still a process with him. He only played, 4 games, I think started 4 games for us last year. Did put up some great numbers, but each and every day we just pushing him to get better.
Coach, a packed house. Everybody will be there. The Classic. It should be a sight to see. Lane will come in. Just talk a little bit about just going in and doing what you guys do.
Yeah, just playing a good disciplined football game. Don't want to block out the crowd. It's going to be loud. The bands are going to be there. Like you said, the tailgate is going to be packed. Everybody's looking forward to this one. Every time I stop anywhere, everybody's talking about this first home opener. So, and then it's WC Gordon Classic, a big mentor of mine, somebody that I really leaned on, loved a lot, a great coach here. So we just got to block that out and clean up the mistakes we made last week. We talked about the penalties, got to be able to run the football better, and just go out there and play JSU football and give a good show for these fans this weekend.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
Coach Taylor, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. I'll see you on next week. Everybody be safe.
Thank you. This concludes our SWAC football head coaches media session for Tuesday, September the 3rd. The recording and the audio and video for this session is available on the SWAC Digital Network YouTube page. Once again, please visit the SWAC Digital Network YouTube account to access the audio and video for this media session. Look forward to resuming our media sessions on Mondays. We'll go back to Mondays next week. That'll be set for Monday, September 9th at 10 a.m. Thank you for all of our media participants. Have a great day.